Good day everyone. We are the Group 8 and I am the first reporter and I am Ferdinand Pedrosa. The second reporter is Almira Alang Bandila and the third reporter is Justin Altea Tabion and the last one is Babay Pulalon. And we are about to discuss the about lesson designing, and our ILO or intended learning outcome is at the end of the chapter. You should be able to explain the importance of preparing lesson design, identify different steps in various formats and lesson designing, and create lesson designs using different formats as applied multigrade teaching. So, lesson designing and multigrade teaching. Um, Lesson designing is a blueprint for the teacher or a template for facilitating a lesson. It is a major pillar of the educational structure and center of learning according to Mastro, Perry, and Scruggs in 2007. So, lesson designing is serve as a guides for teachers delivering effective lessons and ensuring the learning objectives are met through activities and assessments. So, according to Nisari and Hidari in 2024, it contains the objectives. It, it is what the students in each grade level should learn. So, how objectives will be fulfilled. This is the method of delivery and procedure, and a methodology to assess how well the objectives were met. This is the assessments. So, one of the most important aspects of the educational process is the lesson design or plan. So, in short, those aspects are vital components of the educational process. It ensures that teaching is organized and aligned with the learning goals. So, lesson designing is the heart of the effective teaching. It is a creative process that allows the teachers to map out curriculum goals into skills and tasks. According to Posner in 2003, it ensures continuity of learning and the integration of skills and knowledge across the multi-grade curriculum. So in short, a multi-grade lesson design is a structured plan that provide specific learning outcome for each grade level. So furthermore, it serves as a tool for evaluation or students' performance as well as the effectiveness of the methodology, materials, and instructional approach utilized. In other words, careful lesson designing needs to an effective multi-grade learning environment. So, lesson designing is a central or the heart of effective teaching. So, why? So, because it helps teachers manage diverse learning, organize content, strategies, and activities for each grade level. So, we have the benefits of effective lesson. So, the first one is it organizes the thoughts of the teacher and coordinates his or her ideas well, which facilitates good teaching and learning. It equips the teacher with the general outline of the goals and the resources needed to achieve them. Second one, because the activities and materials are prepared and properly sequenced, it saves energy for both the teachers and the students. As a result, it completes expected tasks for both students and teachers and develops a sense of order among learners. The third one is it allows the teachers to spend less time in class flipping through the text box, worrying about the to do next or rushing to make photocopies. To encourage students to participate in activities, time is being maximized. Fourth one, the fourth one is it improves achievements and increases the likelihood of providing meaningful learning experiences to students. The fifth one is it gives the and teachers the confidence to teach, hence facilitates happy and productive learning. Multi-grade teachers must plan meticulously lesson designs, curriculum guides, budget of work, and timetables are planning materials that assist teachers in preparing ahead of time to ensure that all essential competencies are covered. Lesson planning for multi-grade teachers should be flexible and imaginative. And that's all for my topic, and the second reporter would be Almira. Thank you.
This slide is from the lesson 2, Format and the parts of the lesson design, which is focused on helping multi-grade teachers, those who teach students from multiple grade levels in the same classrooms, and create effective lesson plans. And multi-grade teachers may often struggle with lesson planning because they must cater the student of different grade levels at once. This lesson helped them to understand how to design the lesson suited for this setup. Okay, these are the common questions from new multi-grade teacher. The common questions. First, how shall I prepare lesson design in multi-grade setting? As a future educator or teacher, they want to know how to make lesson plans that work for more than one grade level at the same time. The second question, what grade level will be my focus? Should the lesson be more suited to younger students, older students, or all equally? The third question, how shall I integrate the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains in holistic plan? Okay, how to include all aspects of learning? The cognitive, the thinking, the psychomotor, the doing, and affective is that our feeling or the feeling of our students, the values. Number 4 question. With 2 or 3 grade levels in a class, can I finish my lesson within the time provided? As a future educator or a future teacher or a teacher in multi-grade classes, time management become a major concern. Number 5, what will my lesson design look like? They need a clear format or template that they can follow. In conclusion, from this slide, in multi-grade classroom, planning is essential. The teacher need to invest time, effort, and crafting lesson plans because it is a vital rule part of the rule. Proceed to the next slide. Okay, these are the questions to consider in preparing multi-grade lesson design. First is the learning objectives. When we say learning objectives, clearly define what the student should learn and achieve by the end of the lesson, ensuring goals are specific and measurable. For example, student will able to identify and explain the main characteristic of different type of clouds for grade 1 to grade 3. Another example, the student will demonstrate an understanding of basic addition and subtraction fact within 20 for kindergarten to grade 2. Second, the student understand the diverse needs, the academic, social, the physical, and personal emotional of students across different grade level to tailor instruction effectively. The third, for example, in grade 1, the student needs support with reading comprehension, while grade 3, the student can read independently but needing help with complex texts. Some students have physical disability and requires accessible materials. The number 3 materials identify necessary instructional materials are and resources including leveraging indigenous materials available in community to make learning relevant and engaging. For example, the, the cloud charts and pictures for visual learning, number, lines card, and counting blocks for math activities, and utilizing local plants for a schemalization on science lesson on photosynthesis. In the number 4, the strategies. As a future teacher educators, we need to choose the teaching strategies and activities that promote learning for all students, ensuring flexibility, differentiation to accommodate various learning styles and levels. Example, using tiered assignment in math, where the student work on different levels of complexity. Implementation, a several experiment that that all students can participate within modification for different grade levels. Number 5, the groupings. Decide on the grouping approach, the heterogeneous or homogeneous, and group size based on the lessons, objectives, and students' needs, promoting effective collaboration and learning. For example, in heterogeneous grouping, for a project where students can share their strengths such as art, the writing, or research skills. In homogeneous grouping, for reading, activities where students are grouped by reading level for targeted instruction. The last is assessment. When we say assessment determine how to assist student understanding and evaluate learning through differentiated tasks, affecting on what work well and what needs improvement for for future lessons. For example, informative assessment like quizzes and class discussion to check understanding during the lesson. And summative assessment like project or presentation that allow So then to demonstrate the learning at the end of the unit. The last is the differentiated task may include a written test or some student and presentation or project for others depending on their learning needs.
Hello everyone, I am Jocelyn Tabian and my topic is all about the part of lesson design. So, before the teacher begins planning, she must first determine the lesson's objectives. The intended learning outcomes are statements that outline what the learner will eventually be able to demonstrate as a result of the learning engagement. So before the teacher creates any part of the lesson plan, the first step is to set the learning objectives or intended learning outcomes. The clear statement that describe is what students are expected to learn by the end of the lesson and what they should be able to demonstrate to to do as a result of the lesson. So the next is, in summary, objectives indicate the first is performance. So performance is what the learner should be able to accomplish. So performance is what the students will do. And the second is condition, is the circumstances under which the doing will be happen. Condition is under what circumstances they they will do it. And the last one is acceptable performance, the standards by which the performance will be rated. Acceptable performance is the level of quality expected. So the next is a sample set of subject communicative strategies aims to develop appropriate communicative strategies and improvement students' general level of proficiency in English. Intended learning outcomes, some example is number 1, explain different strategies used in communication. Number 2, apply appropriate strategies in different modes of communications. And number 3, reflect on improvement on communicative strategy. So the next is the learning objectives of the following characteristics. So the first is the specific. Specific is describe the specific and clear objectives without using complicated language. So the specific is the objectives should be clear and focused. Avoid using words like understand or know. Use direct action words like identify, describe, and solve. So the next is measurable. Can be displayed in a tangible way, can be assessed. Outcome and quality of accomplishment can be observed. So the measurable is you must be able to assess whether students have achieved the objectives. And then the attainable can be complete within the time first specified and sufficient resources are available. So attainable is the objective should be realistic and double within the class time and with the available resources. And then the result-oriented relevant is relevant and must be connected to the student's life experiences. The learning outcomes should connect to real-life skills or students' experiences, and students should see the purpose of the task. And the last one is time-bound, can be complete in a given frame. Time-bound, there must be a clear time frame for accomplishing the objective. So the next is the learning content. Learning content must fully cover what are essential. There's a balance in content and values, significant to the varying needs and developmental stages of the multigrade students and can be carried out in the right amount of time. In writing learning content, it includes the subject, matter or content, value that can be integrated, variety of resources and lesson materials that teachers can use to enhance learning outcomes and create more interactive, interesting, and engaging learning activities. So the learning content is the essential knowledge, skills, and values taught in the lesson. It should match students' developmental levels, especially in multi-grade classes, and fit within the available time. Writing the content includes specifying the subject matter, integrating values, and listening needed materials and citing references. The goal is to create relevant, organized, and engaging lesson aligned with the learning outcomes. The next is the subject matter or content, the topic or lesson at hand. The first is the value integration, the appropriate value that can be developed or integrated in the lesson. So, the value integration is refers to the moral or character value that can be taught, described alongside the lesson. So, the example is the teaching cooperation during group work or responsibility through homework. The second is material, the supplies and resources that are available in the use in the lessons. So, the materials is these are the tools, supplies, or resources used during the lesson. An example is the visual aids, worksheets, charts, flashcards, or the digital tools. And the last is the references. These are the source of information. An example is textbooks, online articles, or educational websites. So for my last topic is all about learning experiences. In this content engagement includes a variety of instructional methods, both traditional and authentic learning. Learning experiences guide students toward content engagement in a system and learning new skills. So the learning experiences are the institutional methods and activities that actively engage students with the lesson. These experiences, whether traditional or real world, help learners build understanding and develop new skills. And that's all about my topic. Thank you.
The 5S model uses activity, analysis, abstraction, application, and assessment to build knowledge holistically. The is the trees model is focuses on instruction, interaction, and integration of new information. The 4ES model uses engagement, exploration, explanation, and elaboration to guide learning progressively. Finally, the 4PS model emphasizes preparation, presentation, practice, and performance for skill acquisition. This model offers different approaches to effective teaching and learning.